Did you know that a growing number of people deeply connected to spirituality are leaving modern churches? But the reason isn't what you might think. There's a hidden truth, a reality few dare to expose, but one that could completely change your perception of faith and spirituality. Curious? Then get ready, because what follows might transform your spiritual journey forever. Today we'll explore a phenomenon shaking the foundations of the spiritual world. Why the chosen, those seeking a deeper connection with God, are stepping away from modern churches. This isn't simply a story of disillusionment, it's a journey of spiritual discontent, where many realize that materialism and superficiality have replaced the genuine values that once nourished their souls. Perhaps you've felt it too. That emptiness that lingers even after fulfilling religious rituals or attending Sunday services. It's a sense that something essential is missing, as though the true direct connection with God is becoming increasingly out of reach. And believe me, this realization isn't a failure but the beginning of something much greater. In this video we'll uncover the deeper reasons behind this transformation and, more importantly, how you can use them to illuminate your own spiritual path. But be warned, what you'll discover may challenge your deepest beliefs while also freeing you to embrace an authentic spirituality, filled with inner transformation and purpose. Are you ready? Spiritual discontent is something many of the chosen face at some point in their journey. They walk into modern temples and churches searching for a deeper meaning but often leave with a sense of emptiness. Why does this happen? Many begin to realize that essential values, those that truly connect the soul to God, are being replaced by practices focused on materialism or the fulfillment of institutional rules. It's like seeking an oasis in the desert and finding only sand. This feeling of disconnection grows as the chosen start to see the difference between a living spirituality and systems that have become routine and mechanical. For example, a devout individual may spend years following all the rituals yet still feel something essential is missing. That emptiness isn't a sign of weakness or failure but an inner calling to seek a more authentic faith, one that transcends the walls of any church. Many testify that even surrounded by people inside a church, they feel spiritually alone. This happens because what the soul seeks isn't a spectacle but an inner transformation. When religious leaders prioritize financial growth or the number of followers over spiritual growth, it's inevitable that those more sensitive to the divine calling begin to feel out of place. At this point, many start their search for something greater. However, this discomfort is just the beginning of a journey. It's like a seed that needs to break through the earth to grow. For the chosen, this discontent isn't the end but the start of a deeper search for authenticity and a direct connection with God. But does abandoning traditional practices truly offer the only way forward? For the chosen, the search for authenticity is like a fire burning within them, an insatiable need to find spiritual truth without the distractions imposed by human structures. They realize that modern churches often prioritize material possessions and external achievements, neglecting what truly matters, a genuine and intimate relationship with God. It's like trying to quench thirst with salt water. The more you consume, the more you realize it's not enough. This search often begins with small questions. Am I following traditions or truly seeking God? What is this changing in me? For these chosen ones, the answer lies in breaking free from the superficial and drawing closer to what is essential. Imagine a seeker who decides to replace hours of formal meetings with moments of prayer and meditation in the silence of their room. This simple practice transforms the spiritual experience, allowing them to feel the divine presence in a way no ceremony can provide. Authenticity also brings challenges, as it requires confronting one's own beliefs and values. Breaking away from familiar patterns isn't easy, but it's necessary to achieve genuine faith. For example, many begin practices such as keeping a spiritual journal or seeking smaller support groups where discussions are genuine and focused on inner transformation, not appearances or rituals. This move toward authenticity is like opening the windows of a stuffy house, bringing in fresh air and a new perspective. But it also raises an important question. Does this search for authenticity demand a complete break from materialism and traditional practices? And what does it mean to live a truly simple and stripped-down spirituality? Breaking away from materialism is one of the most challenging yet transformative decisions the chosen face. Many realize that institutionalized religious practices, instead of nourishing the soul, often reinforce fear, guilt, and an obsession with accumulating possessions. It's like carrying heavy luggage that never opens to reveal anything of value. When these spiritual seekers decide to drop that baggage, they begin to experience profound relief. True spirituality isn't found in numbers or possessions but in a life of simplicity and meaning. For example, a chosen one might decide to stop measuring their spiritual progress by the size of their donations or the recognition of religious leaders, focusing instead on practices such as daily prayer and meditation that connect them directly to God. These simple moments bring more clarity and purpose than any material achievement. However, breaking away from materialism also requires courage to face societal expectations and even judgments. Imagine someone who decides to prioritize spirituality over the financial success promoted by some modern churches. This person may face criticism but will also discover unparalleled inner freedom, a sense of being truly aligned with their divine mission. But this break doesn't mean a complete abandonment of external practices. Rather, it's a redesign of priorities. When the chosen begin to build a life based on what truly matters, they realize that letting go of materialism is just the beginning. The question that remains is, how does this detachment create space for a direct connection with God, free of intermediaries? This leads us to the next step in this journey. A true direct connection with God is one of the greatest longings of the chosen and, at the same time, one of the most liberating paths they can follow. It's in this intimate encounter, free of intermediaries, that the soul finds the peace and purpose it has always sought. Imagine someone who, at the end of a chaotic day, decides to set aside 10 minutes to sit in silence, breathe deeply, and connect with the divine through prayer and meditation. These simple yet profoundly transformative moments can completely change one's perspective on life. Unlike conventional religious practices, which often focus on external rituals, a direct connection with God is a personal and authentic relationship. There are no rigid rules or formalities, just an open heart ready to listen and be heard. For example, instead of reciting memorized prayers, many chosen prefer spontaneous conversations with God, sharing their doubts, gratitude, and desires. This practice not only strengthens faith but also creates a sense of closeness that no ceremony can provide. This direct connection also brings practical changes to everyday life. When someone begins to feel the divine presence in every small action, their decisions start reflecting this new awareness. Imagine someone who, when faced with a conflict, chooses to respond with patience and love instead of acting impulsively. Small changes like this, driven by genuine spirituality, have a profound impact on the surrounding environment. However, this journey is not without challenges. The freedom to connect directly with God can be misunderstood by those still tied to traditional religious systems. But it's precisely in these moments of doubt and judgment that the inner light of the chosen becomes even more evident, guiding them to the next step in their spiritual journey. After all, how can this light be discovered and shared? The inner transformation of the chosen is a profound process that goes far beyond simply changing behaviors. It's about igniting an inner light that illuminates both their own path and that of those around them. This journey doesn't happen overnight but begins with small steps, such as dedicating daily time to reflect on one's actions and align with the divine mission. It's in this process that true spirituality comes to life, free from formalities or external judgments. Imagine someone who, instead of focusing on dogmas or rituals, decides to live their spirituality in everyday life. This transformation becomes evident in simple actions, like treating others with more kindness or finding purpose in challenging situations. For the chosen, these changes are not just results of faith but manifestations of a deeper connection with God. Prayer and meditation become practical tools to strengthen this inner light, bringing clarity amid chaos. Yet this light isn't just for personal benefit. When someone lives in tune with their inner transformation, they begin to positively impact everyone around them. Think of a spiritual leader who, instead of imposing rules, inspires through humble and authentic actions. This behavior not only strengthens their spiritual community but also motivates others to follow similar paths. It's here that the chosen discover the power of their divine mission, to spread light in a world often trapped in darkness. However, carrying this inner light isn't an easy task. The brighter it shines, the more challenges and judgments may arise. But it's precisely in these moments that the light gains strength, as it is through adversity that the chosen realize they are not alone. This is when spiritual community becomes essential, offering support and encouragement for each to continue their divine journey. After all, light grows only when shared. While the spiritual journey of the chosen is personal, the importance of spiritual community cannot be underestimated. When people with the same purpose come together, something powerful happens. It's not about numbers but about the depth of the connections. Imagine a small group that regularly meets to pray, meditate, and share their spiritual experiences. In this space, each member feels welcomed and understood, as if they were among family. Unlike large institutions, these communities focus on authenticity and mutual growth. There's no judgment, only support. An example of this is a group of friends who decide to read a Bible passage every week and discuss how to apply it in daily life. These gatherings may seem simple, but they help strengthen faith and face the challenges of the spiritual path with more confidence and clarity. These communities are also fundamental to the divine mission of the chosen. Together, they can achieve actions that would be impossible alone. Think of a group that, inspired by spirituality, decides to organize donations for needy families or simply offer words of hope to those going through difficult times. Each small action performed together creates an impact far beyond individual intentions. However, these communities are not just a refuge but a springboard for something greater. They strengthen the chosen so they can spread their light and fulfill their mission with more courage and purpose. And, in the end, it's not just about finding a group to walk with but understanding that the true direct connection with God is the foundation of all these relationships. After all, how can the union of spiritually connected individuals transform lives and the world? This is something we can only discover when we accept the call to act. The most remarkable point of this spiritual journey is not merely that many chosen are leaving modern churches. It's the profound reason driving this decision, the search for something that transcends materialism, imposed rules and superficialities. This moment of awakening is like removing a blindfold to see the essence that has always been there, waiting to be discovered. The chosen are not simply giving up. They are answering a call for radical inner transformation. It's a decision that requires courage, letting go of the comfort of traditions and embarking on a path where a direct connection with God is the only guide. Think about it. How often do we seek answers outside, while the true divine voice has always been within us, waiting to be heard in the silence of prayer and meditation? But what makes this phenomenon so impactful is that it's not about abandoning or criticizing the past. It's about building something new, a spirituality that doesn't depend on temples or leaders but on a personal relationship with the divine. Imagine the impact this could have on the world. People reconnecting with God authentically, living with purpose and spreading light in an environment often dominated by darkness.